Working 12-hour shifts at the height of the pandemic only to come home to your neighbors throwing all-night ragers. No sleep, no peace, just chaos. That was my life, until I turned their little party house into the nation's top scandal. Let's just say their parents, their university, and the entire country found out what they'd been up to. If you've ever dreamed of the perfect revenge against someone who just wouldn't listen, you're gonna love this story. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. It helps us bring you more epic stories where karma isn't just served, it's broadcast live on the evening news. All right, let's get into it. Back in 2020, right in the middle of the strictest COVID lockdowns, 2 young students moved into the apartment next to mine. At first, I thought, no big deal. Students, a little noise here and there, I can live with that. But then, just days after moving in, they decided it was time to throw a party. Now here's the thing, this wasn't just any time. Belgium was under heavy lockdown. Bars closed, restaurants closed, households limited to a single visitor. The rest of us were sacrificing birthdays, weddings, and even funerals. And me, I was working in healthcare, specifically with mentally disabled residents who were at extreme risk if COVID spread. I'd volunteered for the ad hoc COVID team, meaning I was spending 10 to 11 hours at work daily, plus an hour long bike commute each way. Every day I was exhausted, mentally and physically. The one thing I desperately needed was sleep. But sleep, forget it. Their first little party turned into a full-blown rager, music blasting, people screaming in the hallway, things breaking. I finally knocked on their door at 4 in the morning. Over 20 people crammed inside. I politely introduced myself, explained I had to be up at 6 a.m., and asked when they thought their company might leave. They apologized, promised to quiet down, and swore no party the next night. Guess what? They lied. Night after night, the chaos continued. For 3 straight nights, I got no sleep. I was at my breaking point, shaky hands, headaches, losing focus at work. Every night I confronted them. Every night they gave me fake apologies. Every night, nothing changed. Finally, the weekend came, they went back to their parents, and I collapsed into bed like a soldier returning from war. I thought maybe, just maybe, they'd learned their lesson. I was wrong. Instead of giant ragers, the next phase began a constant stream of people, all hours of the night. Their doorbell rang 70 times in a single evening. Our stone hallway turned into an echo chamber of drunk laughter, footsteps, and shouting. It was like living inside a nightclub. I discovered why their apartment wasn't just a living space anymore. It had become an illegal bar, with actual bars closed. Students, many of them law students, ironically used their place as a secret hangout. Across the street, a frat house of 5 boys ran their own lockdown club, and people hopped back and forth between the two all night. Our hallway? Just part of their bar crawl. Talking to the girls, useless. Talking to their drunk guests, even worse. They laughed in my face, called me a pesky neighbor, or just staggered past too drunk to care. So my upstairs neighbor and I teamed up. We started calling the police, dozens of times. But the girls wouldn't open the door, and the police shrugged. Sorry, our hands are tied. I felt powerless, helpless, but also determined. See, I'm a social worker. Research is my thing. When official channels fail, I find channels. So I started calling around, student unions, town hall, anyone who might listen. Most were sympathetic, but unable to help. Then my upstairs neighbor gave me an idea: contact the dean. So I drafted a polite email to the law faculty dean. I apologized for disturbing him, but explained we had a nightly illegal bar in his student's apartment, breaking every COVID law imaginable. I mentioned that unless something changed, we were ready to go to the press. Within hours, he called me back. He was furious. Not at me, at them. That very same day, he called the student and her parents. The fallout was immediate. Tears, drama, apologies. They admitted the police had actually managed to get in a few times, handing out €300 fines per party. I thought, finally, we sat down, had a peace talk. I vented about my sleepless nights, my early mornings, and my patients who couldn't risk exposure. They promised to change. But change? Nope. They just shifted the problem across the street, partying with the frat boys instead. By now, I was done playing nice. My neighbor filmed one of their massive parties across the street. I tested the waters by posting it to a local subreddit. The response: overwhelming. People were sick of selfish lockdown parties. That's when we decided it was time to go nuclear. We contacted the press and the university vice rector, one of only 12 for a campus of 15,000 students. The response was immediate. Local reporters picked up the story, confirmed with police that dozens of calls had been logged, and ran the headline: healthcare worker kept awake while students throw illegal lockdown parties. Police called dozens of times. The story spread like wildfire, promoted to national newspapers. At the same time, the vice rector informed us that a disciplinary investigation was officially underway. And then the cherry on top. One night, my neighbor messaged me, "Turn on the news." A national TV crew had come to our street, cameras rolling. And in the most glorious twist of poetic stupidity, a frat boy across the street actually let the news crew in and admitted on camera that they'd holding illegal parties and ignoring police. Game over. The fallout: delicious. The girls next door, 40 hours of community service, probation, and forced apologies. The frat boys, 80 hours each, plus handwritten apology letters delivered to us. I can't describe the satisfaction of opening an envelope, reading, "I'm sorry I kept you awake with illegal parties," and then filing it away like a trophy. From then on, peace. No more parties. No more hallway chaos. Just silence. And if there was ever a whisper of noise, one WhatsApp message was enough to shut it down instantly. Because now they knew even the most patient neighbor has limits. And when polite warnings are ignored, revenge can get very public. When I think back, it wasn't just about sleep. It was about fairness. While the rest of us sacrificed, missing family, isolating, risking our health at work, these students acted like the rules didn't apply to them. They laughed at me, dismissed me, treated me like I was invisible. But in the end, they weren't just visible. They were exposed. To their parents, to their dean, to their entire country. And I finally got my justice. Not by screaming, not by stooping to their level, but by using their own arrogance against them. If this story proves anything, it's this: patience has a breaking point. Never mistake kindness for weakness, because when pushed too far, even the calmest person can bring the hammer down. And sometimes, that hammer is the evening news. What do you think? Was this the perfect revenge, or would you have gone even further? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, if you've ever had noisy neighbors, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories where karma isn't just delivered, it's served with a side of poetic justice.